For this video, I'm going to briefly go over my history with keto as well as my plans for moving forward with the carnivore variant of the ketogenic diet. So prior to finding keto, I was usually on a standard Western diet or a 40-40-20 split, which means 40% of my calories would be carbohydrate, usually brown rice and broccoli, 40% would be protein, usually chicken breast, and 20% would be fats, usually from peanut butter that I'd have as a dessert. And that literally would be my meal over and over again. Then back in 2012, I discovered the keto diet and I decided to give it a try. Back then, I was a serving member of the Royal Air Force, and military mess halls aren't really ideal for a keto lifestyle because the vast majority of the foods have flavourings on that are high in sugar, and it's definitely a carb-heavy diet. Thankfully, I did manage to find different ways that I could do keto, and I decided to give it a try. In my experience, the main benefit was the mental focus and clarity. As an engineer in the Air Force, I needed to be able to switch on whenever needed, especially with the job role I had back then. I didn't really do keto for weight loss back then, if I'm honest, because I was running between 25 and 40 mile a week, partly because of my job in the PT sessions would be doing a lot of cardio, but running was one of my main hobbies back then as well. This is a photograph of me back in the day around when I discovered keto. If I remember correctly, I usually hovered between 83 kilos and 87 kilos, which is around 180 pounds to 192 pounds. From there, I discovered powerlifting, and it quickly took the place of running in my hobbies, and I was going through bulking and cutting cycles, so it was a little bit more difficult on keto. So I do things like go mad, where you drink a gallon of milk a day to bulk up, to put on muscle quickly. Another thing was binge drinking as well. There's usually three types of people in the British military. The first are always in the gym, the second are always in their room playing computer games, and the third are always in the bar. Throughout my time serving, I was definitely in all three of those at different times, but as I moved away from running and stuff like that, I definitely started to drink more. So that pushed my weight up to about 110 kilograms, which is about 242 pounds. Because of bulking and cutting cycles, I usually hovered between 100 and 110 kilos throughout the rest of my time in the military, and then fast forward to 2017 and I decided to leave to start my own business. Because of the stress of starting a business, I just ate junk food basically. I mean, it wasn't even a standard Western diet, it was pretty much junk food every meal, every day, and I went up to about 125 kilos, which is around 272 pounds of weight. And this is a photo of me at a family wedding around that time. Keep in mind that I am 6'4", which is around 193 centimeters as well. But you get the idea. The stress of the business, I wasn't on keto or anything like that. I was just grinding on my business and eating junk food. Thankfully, the business that I grew back then worked, and once everything was stable, I decided to turn back to keto to cut again. And that variant of keto was very, very similar to the carnivore diet anyway. It was pretty much bacon and pork chops. That's what I lived on when I was on that cut. And I did have some peanut butter. That's probably the main food that I was consuming that wasn't carnivore friendly, but other than that, pretty much everything was meat anyway. Back then, I was doing 3 powerlifting workouts a week, as well as running about 20 mile a week as well. So I had a really, really good routine, and this is a photograph of me back then at my brother's birthday around that time to give you an idea of the body mass. Yes, I have a pint in my hand. We were drinking for my brother's 30th, but other than that, I rotated back into keto within days and I had no problems. But unfortunately, fast forward about a month and then the lockdown started, and with the lockdowns came an absolute ton of supply chain issues, partly because of the lockdown, partly because of people panic buying things. So it was almost impossible, in my opinion, to do keto where I live. That meant that I got into bad habits. The gyms closed as well as part of the lockdown, so I couldn't go do my powerlifting, and without the powerlifting, I just didn't see the point in running as well. So I developed a lot of bad habits. I went back to eating junk food, and it was pretty much Uber Eats, which is the British version of DoorDash. Every single meal, I'd just literally go on Uber Eats and get junk food delivered to the door. And nothing really changed between the first lockdown and the time I'm recording this video. So it took probably 2 years, maybe 3 years, where I maintained it around 135 kilos, which is almost 300 pounds. And this is a photo of me right now, just for an idea of body mass index. So plans for moving forward, I definitely wanted to go back onto a keto diet because I've always found the mental clarity a lot better than every other diet, and with weight loss as well, I've been able to cut drastic amounts of weight very quickly. Rather than going with the pork-based diet though, where I'd also have peanut butter and things like that now and then, I do want to try the carnivore variant of it, where it's basically just animal produce. I want to do that very strictly for at least 30 days moving forward, just to document the progress. I also want to try a number of other things as well. That's why I've started the YouTube channel, to try and document every step of my journey. Stage 1 is just going to be cutting down. Like I said, I'm around 130 35 kilos in weight now. Over the next couple of months, I just want to focus on cutting weight rather than building muscle, so my gains are basically going to melt away when my body goes catabolic. I do want to be in a calorie deficit. I'm also trying to do at least 10,000 steps every day during the cutting phase as well. Once I'm below 90 kilos, I'm not 100% sure if I want to go much below 90 kilos. Like I said, the lightest I can ever remember being was around 83 kilos. I might aim for that, but I definitely want to get sub 90 again. And when I reach that, I do want to start powerlifting again, and that'll be stage 2, where I try to put muscle on while staying as lean as possible. So there will be a stage 3 where it's just maintenance, where I lift at the same weights as I always do just for maintenance, and I'll eat the same amount of calories, either carnivore or keto. And again, that'll be stage 3, and I want to document that on YouTube too. And the final thing that I want to share on YouTube are quick and easy keto and carnivore friendly recipes, because a lot of the ones on YouTube, in my opinion, they're not realistic for the average person, either due to the equipment the person has or the time, effort, requirements and ingredients that are needed for the recipes. Anyway guys, that concludes the video. It's just a brief overview. Hopefully it was helpful, giving you an idea of what I want to do with the channel. Thanks for watching and have a good day.